straight A student, was falsely accused of stealing a bike. Off-duty cop comes and does this to him.
Hey, take that. What happened? Get off him. Get off him. Take him at son's fight. Like that. Don't watch him fight. No, it's not. Can't be doing that. Hey, get your hands off. Get off. Get your hands off. Get your hands off. Get your hands off. Get your hands off. Hold on. Get off me, man. Get your hands off. Hold on. Damn. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Put up a picture of this cop who falsely accused a young teenage scholar, a straight A student, of stealing a bike. Keep his picture up. Chicago police, they have now opened an internal investigation after a man claiming to be an off-duty officer was captured on cell phone, pinning a teenager to the ground outside a Starbucks in Park Ridge. While the off-duty cop's name has yet to be released, it has been confirmed by the Park Ridge Police Department that he is in fact a Chicago police sergeant. Sergeant means he's a supervisor. It also means he's been there a long time. Let's put up a picture of the 14-year-old victim of this off-duty cop. The 14-year-old victim, who by the way is of Puerto Rican heritage, is a straight A student, 3-sport athlete, an active member of his youth ministry, one of the most amazing teenagers in the United States of America, okay? So what led up to this off-duty cop deciding to harass and criminally assault this 14-year-old scholar? In a Facebook post, the child's mother, Nicole Naives of Park Ridge, says it happened on Friday when the child moved a bike that was blocking the sidewalk. So understand where this came from. He moved a bike that was blocking the sidewalk. She said the man apparently believed he was stealing the bike, even though the teenager had a bike at his side. Now, wait a minute. You're supposed to be a whole sergeant at a police department. You're a detective. You're an investigator. You see a 14-year-old with his own bike moving another bike, and you think he's going to steal the other bike while riding his own bike. Now tell me, Sergeant, how would this work in real life? I'm not talking about on the cartoons. How would this work? What did you see happening next? Was he going to pick up the bike and then ride his own bike? Was he going to leave his bike and then steal the other bike? Was he going to lift the bike on top of his head while getting away on a bike? How did this work out in the sergeant's mind? Allegedly, the cop's son's bike had recently been stolen from a nearby location and made the assumption that the 14-year-old did it. This adult did not use words, he used force. He used his hands, grabbed our son's wrist, body slammed him, then held him with his knee to restrain him. Regardless of the circumstances, getting physical with a minor as an adult for any reason other than self-defense is unacceptable, according to the mother. And I agree with the mother. In the video, you can see and hear the friends who are white defend him. They said, wait a minute, what are you doing here? So let's go to the parents of this young victim. That's Nicole and Angel, who believe the attack was racially motivated. I definitely agree with them. They believe their son was racially profiled because he has long curly hair and darker skin. We've talked to our 3 Puerto Rican boys about this moment for years. We can't possibly put into words how we're feeling: disgust, anger, frustration, outrage, fear, sadness. In a news conference on Wednesday, Nicole added this statement. Here's the quote. We see the bias of an off-duty cop taking advantage of our brown boy with afro hair, smaller in stature, choosing to take the law into his own hands with physical force. It's a clear abuse of his position of authority. Their son is shaken, physically unharmed, however, but because of the event, they do intend to sue. I highly recommend that. the child said nothing is wrong, so to speak, physically. He had committed no crime, period. He wasn't armed. He was not aggressive. He had not resisted with anybody. He was there with his bike. The officer used excessive force on a child. He escalated a situation where no aggression was necessary at all. So let me go to attorney Dina Dahl here. So number one, there is harm because there's emotional damage, and there may be physical damage that the young child is not aware of yet because it may manifest itself later. But does the family have a solid case here of excessive force, even though the guy was an off-duty cop? How does that work?
That's a really good question, and that is going to be the hardest part of it because he also kind of entrapped him. He wasn't able to leave, which is a cause of action as well. Okay. He was definitely acting as a police officer. It looked like he was reaching into his pocket, maybe to make a phone call, maybe to call the police. So if he was, if they can say that he was cooperating with them. But that's what they're gonna come back with, that they're not liable for what a police officer does on his own time. So this is going to be a hard case for the parent to file. But this, I think, is a really good example. We covered that story before where there was a transient black man who the police thought was stealing a bike and he ended up getting tased like 20-something times and died that night. So, at minimum, this sergeant should be fired because I don't know what's going on with this excessive force around bikes. It's like crazy, but here he is. He's got his knee on his back. He clearly didn't even ask the boy what happened, or if he did, he didn't believe him. And this is how things get out of control because you target somebody when they've done something innocent, right? And then they're kind of I don't even know if this boy was resisting, but let's say you're resisting because you feel like you're being unfairly detained. And then that resistance brings more struggle from the police. He was about to call the police, and who knows what would have happened if that boy had been encircled and resisted and tried to explain his story. Things could have gotten much worse. And so they should, obviously he's trained to do this. And so they should be at minimum questioning, the police department should be questioning why their trained police officer is acting in his way like this. I think that to me is I would hope they wouldn't need to have a lawsuit to do that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I highly encourage them to still file the lawsuit. Maybe there's precedent here that needs to be established. He was an off-duty cop, but acting as a peace officer in that moment. All right.